Hello everyone, my name is Gabriela Garzon and today I will talk about a critical environmental health case study, the pollution crisis in Sumqayit, Azerbaijan. The city has been labeled as one of the world's most polluted places, and its history is a real world example of industrial negligence and its consequences. The objective of this presentation is to investigate how industrialization in Sumqayit lead to severe pollution, also how this has impacted human health and the environment, and finally to reflect on what lessons can be learned to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Understanding Sumkajit allows us to appreciate how environmental policies or the lack of them shape public health outcomes. I will begin this presentation by introducing the city's background, followed by the root causes of pollution and how these impact the environment and the alarming health consequences for the population. I will then present data visualizations, propose solutions, and conclude with a summary of what we can learn from Sumkajit. Sumkajit is a coastal city near Azerbaijan's capital, Baku. It was developed heavily during the Soviet era. It became a major hub for the chemical, metal, and petrochemical industries. While this brought economic growth, environmental regulations were almost non existent. The city's factories discharged massive amount of toxic waste directly into the air, soil, and even the Caspian Sea. The sources of pollution were mainly chemical plants, petrochemical refineries, and metal industries. As this chart shows, 45% of pollution comes from chemical industries alone. It's important to mention that during the Soviet period, the focus was only on production at any cost, with zero concern for environmental impact. Factories discharge untreated waste, including heavy metals like mercury and persistent organic pollutants like PCBs, directly into the environment. The environmental damage in Sumqayit was catastrophic. Toxic chemicals seep into the soil and groundwater, causing lasting damage to the ecosystem. The air was often visible polluted, especially near industrial zones. This graph shows PM 2.5 levels from 1990 to 2020. Though there has been some improvement, the levels remain above safe limits. Air pollution declined only after major factories shut down or updated their technology post 2000s. Now let's discuss health. Exposure to pollutants like mercury and PCBs has resulted into extremely high cancer rates. This graph highlights the difference between Sumkajit's cancer incidence, and as we can see over here, is nearly double the national average. Birth defects, respiratory illnesses, and skin diseases are also disproportionately high in this city. The human cost of this environmental disaster is both measurable and heartbreaking. Here we can see a real table of soil examples. Lead concentrations exceed the safe limit by over 5 times. Mercury, cadmium, and PCBs were also found in dangerous quantities. Such data confirm the long-term contamination of the area directly linked to industrial waste mismanagement. Besides this chart shows which industries contribute most to toxic waste, with chemical factories being the world's offender at 50%. The good news is that environmental reforms were introduced in the early 2000s. International organizations like the United Nations Environment Programme and local government agencies start working on soil remediation, pollution monitoring, and public health programs. However, the damage is so deep rooted that full recovery will take a lot of years. Sumqayit reminds us that unchecked industrial growth can lead to irreversible harm. To conclude, Sumqayit's history illustrates the consequences of prioritizing economic growth over environmental protection. The pollution has caused severe ecological and health damage. Strong environmental policies and global cooperations are vital, not only for Sumqayit's recovery, but for the prevention of similar disasters around the world. These are the resources that I use for this presentation, and thank you so much for your time.